And now, Gimmick Infringement.
Welcome, everybody, to the Gimmick Infringement Podcast. I am Brad Winchester, and with me, as always, is my tag team partner, Tyler McDowell-Blanken. Tyler, it's Sunday. You know what that means. We're back. I'm tired. It's a little warmer today in southern Arizona than it has been. Still a little chillier than I would like, but I'm enjoying the time. How you doing?
All true statements. I'm well. It's our last episode of January.
It's crazy.
How is that possible? February. It's crazy. February's already here. I'm feeling great, man. How's everything?
Good. I'm thinking on a couple days from now, as this is released, I think 3 days from now, we'll have the announcement of who were the winners of the Sports Podcast Awards. Really excited. Thank you for all of those folks out there that are listening or watching that took time to register and vote for us. Really appreciate it. Good luck to all the people that are in the contest, and really hoping the best. I would love to get a top 3 this year. That would mean a ton for us and for the show going forward. And I know we saw the face of some of the finalists last year in programming this week, Tyler. I'm sure we're going to end up talking about that, but
I was not expecting that. Well done, Brad Winchester.
Yeah. Well, I know you had feelings.
This is why you're the greatest co-host in the land. Yeah, I did certainly have feelings. You know, we're going to talk WWE. Of course, we're going to talk AEW. The Bachelor is back, season 29. I even have a couple of surprises for you on this episode. This is going to be a fun conversation.
I always get confused by 29 seasons. It's kind of like where you find out it's season 52 of Chopped or whatever, and you're like, but it started in like 2004. So
so true.
How
Big
many?
Brother. There's been nearly 30 seasons. Wait, how is that possible? It's been around since I've been alive. I don't know.
Yeah, I was like, wait a second. Yeah, it's like, wait a second. I don't believe this show was on when I was 9, but here we are. WWE, different story. They've been going strong for a long time. We're going to get into that shortly, but first, I know, Tyler, that you got another hot take for us. I have no idea what it is, and I can't wait to hear it. So let's play the music and get into it.
It's time for Hot Take Time. Spicy.
I've been thinking about this nearly all week. I came across rumors about the Obamas. That's right, Barack and Michelle. Brad Winchester, I'm not sure if you've heard of these same rumors, but there are murmurs out there, none confirmed. Let me say off top, none confirmed, but there are murmurs that Barack and Michelle could be filing for divorce. Now, I first heard about this. This really was in the news. It's not just, non-reputable. It's mostly a lot of non-reputable people. If you Google Obama as the first search result is actually divorce, you can try it right now. Or wait till after you listen or watch this episode. But there will be like Times of India, Uncle Buck's blog spot, and just these really, again, probably not reputable. However, Meghan McCain, of course, daughter of a former Arizona senator and presidential candidate John McCain. Meghan McCain on her podcast really brought up this speculation about the Obamas and mentioned she's been hearing, she didn't name her sources, but mentioned that she's been hearing from reputable people in her circle and beyond that it could be a case of, these two folks are just living different lives now. And obviously the daughters, Sasha and Malia, are grown and this could be it. My hot take for you, so I've had days to process this. My hot take for you is that if this is true, which I hope it's not, Brad, if the Obamas are in fact getting a divorce, this to me would be more devastating than the night of November 5th, Tuesday, November 5th, 2024. This would be more devastating than the election to me if this happened.
Wow.
Democracy is cool. I care about democracy. But the Obamas represent stability, hope, consistency. love. It would really feel like an end of an era in my life if they go their separate ways. I just want them to be happy. Again, I hope these I hope these rumors are not true. But if they are, I'm gonna need some time to recover. What say you?
I looked at the people reporting this, and I'm just gonna say, because like when Megyn Kelly, and we got McCain's out there, like those are
people have an interest.
and there was some Jennifer Aniston relationship rumors in there.
Barack and Jennifer Aniston. I didn't click on that, but
I'm not gonna, like, I saw like all the links that came up with those, like
tabloid.
This, and I'm like, I'm not clicking that. That's no. E Online is doing this. What are we doing? So yeah, I don't.
But it was in the news this past week, and it just I was taken aback.
I'm gonna tell you this. I have not paid attention to any of the news in at least a month. I have not looked at it. I don't want to see it. The only time it pops onto my radar is when I think, what did we miss? And before we record the show, I go, news from the past week. And I see what fills my screen. I get bludgeoned with it from all other directions. So I feel like I don't need to even watch anything because everybody's telling me about this. I got to tell you, I don't care. If they want to get divorced, cool. They want to stay together, cool. I don't care. It's none of my business. It doesn't affect me. I don't care. Like, if they're unhappy, that sucks. I don't care. That's how I feel about all these people. Like, I don't know any of these people. They're all rich. None of them give a shit about me. Like, I don't care.
Wow.
Like, the impact that I think of when I think of what this will make on my life is the same as if I drop this box of crayons on the floor. Nothing changed. Nothing changed for me. For you, I'm sorry this is going to affect you personally, but I don't actually know them, so I don't care. So I hope them the best.
Devastate me.
I hope for them the best.
I do too.
I hope it works out however it's supposed to work out. I want them to be happy, but I don't care what happens. As long as they're all of those things, I don't really care. And even if they're not, I also don't really care because I wish I could say I did. I don't. I'm at a life where point in my life now where I've reached this. I don't care because these people aren't in my life, so I'm not going to let them affect my life in any way. Any of these people, anybody, you're in my life. What happens to you? I care about that. What happens to them? I don't care.
Wow,
that's my hot take.
That may have even surpassed my hot take.
Pessimistic take, Brad, is what it is, or selfish take, Brad. Yeah,
there are many adjectives to describe Brad Winchester. Honest is one of them.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
If you can rely on Brad for at least one thing, it is honesty. And yeah, we'll talk about relationships later on when we preview The Bachelor season 29. But before then, Brad, WWE, I know you lobbed this up a few minutes ago.
Before I took out the Obama's relationship. Yeah.
We've moved past that now. However, what we have not moved past is WWE's Saturday night's main event. And before I ask you my question, I am going to have a moment of honesty and full transparency. I only read the results of this show, and before our viewers and listeners completely turn against me and lose all faith, please know I had every intention to watch this show. I turned it on just about right on time. I got the Spanish broadcast feed, which apparently was not unique to me, which was interesting. I was hearing Pat McAfee, but also hearing the Spanish broadcast at the same time. That's apparently it wasn't just me, Brad. But anyway, I was locked in for the first few minutes. And then before Rhea Ripley and Nia Jax come out, who do we get showing up? I forget if it was a limousine or what have you in the backstage area. It was Ted DiBiase. And when I saw that huckster, Brad, I said, no, not today, Satan. I instantly changed the channel. This is not a bit. I literally said, nope.
Can't confirm.
Nope. I said, nope. I am not subjecting myself to this. So I hope it was an awesome show. It seemed relatively predictable, but I did not watch. I just read, and I have some other questions for you there. So do you have any thoughts on Ted DiBiase showing up?
Nope.
Okay, very good. Just as I had hoped for. Here we go. Here's my question. WWE, non-Ted DiBiase talk. I feel better now.
The hitting you with the nope is my favorite gimmick that I do.
It was
Like just do you have any thoughts about Hulk Hogan? No.
nope.
Oh, very good. Like I love it so much.
As do I, my friend. Okay, so Penta remains unbeaten. Undefeated is what I have in my notes. Unbeaten. That was weird. Penta has not lost yet. NXT talents Cora Jade and Fraxium. I'm blaming down Ted DiBiase. They appeared on the first live TNA Impact in 8 years. I did watch that. And Rhea Ripley and Gunther retained their championships at the aforementioned Saturday night's main event. Now, Brad, in case you haven't heard, the Royal Rumble is this Saturday. Let's go. Who are your picks to win the men's and women's matches?
Oh man, I don't even know.
Can you believe it's this Saturday already?
No, because like you, I did a lot of reading this week. I have no idea. I have to look at like the whole. I've been thinking more about surprises than winners, to be honest with you.
Let's talk about it.
I think we're going to have a lot of TNA, right? Like we're going to get a whole bunch of TNA.
Joe Hendry, Jordan Grace,
for sure.
Josh Alexander, maybe.
Well, I don't know if Jordan Grace going to be a TNA talent in the Rumble?
Absolutely not.
I think that's
he's getting the photo with Triple H backstage. She is signed.
And if she's signed,
be an outcome here. Yeah.
And if she's signed and she goes back there, I wouldn't put them past her being in the final two.
Please.
And then maybe even winning it. I think she might win it. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it's gonna be Jordan Grace. Joe Hendry has no shot. I think it ends like real quick, but it's not gonna matter. The pop is all that anybody cares about. His history with WWE Battle Royales not so great. So we get eliminated in like 2 seconds on NXT. I can't remember how fast it was, but it was absurdly fast. I can't wait for that. Maybe a returning Nick Nemeth. I doubt it, but
Wanted man.
I doubt that'll happen. I really do. Josh Alexander would be really cool. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure what happens there. I think for the Royal Rumble, the final few, it's definitely going to be John Cena, right? Like John Cena will be in there for the final few. Maybe he's the last one out. But as far as winners, I don't know. I really don't know what the clear path is because who is the person? The thing that I hate about having multiple titles is that there's multiple titles. It used to be clear that the Royal Rumble winner was going to challenge for that one title. And now it's like there's two of them. So I don't even know who the person is. I have to assume it's going to be Cody. So who do you want to see challenge Cody?
Definitely. Yeah, I would. Yeah, Cody, to me, Cody and Gunther are definitely the champs walking into WrestleMania. I don't think we see either of those belts switch. And I was wrong, by the way, too. I thought Jey Uso was going to get crowned to lose it back to Gunther. Completely wrong. Yeah, those are the two guys. So if it's Cena, can I interest you in a Cena versus Cody main eventing Las Vegas?
Yeah, it'd be like big names on that.
You're not interested in the match itself?
Not really. Cody, I mean, it would be a lot of fun, I think, but you'd have to do a lot of what happened with Roman last year, and Roman doesn't have the same physical limitations that John Cena has. Not that John Cena is like not strong or talented or anything like that. He's just older and he hasn't been in the ring for a long time, not consistently. So, Father Time catches us all. And I just don't know that the match would be that exciting without having to have a whole bunch of tomfoolery on the outside of it. And I don't know that John Cena's last WrestleMania match should be dedicated to tomfoolery. But I also could see him making somebody look really big, and I would rather see him win that belt and break that record, which is why I think it would make more sense for him to fight Gunther than Cody. Because unless they're going to flip Cody here between now and April, I don't know that anybody's going to want to see John Cena beat Cody. John Cena's not going to lose a heel, right? Like
Cody's still so popular. I also wonder if there will be any, because I agree with you. Cena appears to be the favorite heading into this Saturday. And granted, you have huge names. There's main event Jey Uso, there's Roman Reigns, there's Seth Rollins, there's CM Punk, there's Drew McIntyre.
Yeah,
there's a lot of heavy hitters.
You just named off the four that I would love to see at the end.
Period. I wonder if there will be any fan pushback to John Cena being too predictable of a winner. If we get to final 4, 3, 2, at this point, I think Cena's built up enough cachet with the audience, and we know this is his last year. I think Indianapolis is going to be all here for him. I just wonder if maybe we're leaning to, okay, this is a little bit too predictable that he's going to go to Mania. He's going to win the title from either Gunther or Cody, and thus, become the all-time record holder. I haven't heard a lot of conversation about that, but I wonder if that's an element here where maybe there's any fan pushback. At this point, I don't think so, just because, Cena's developed enough goodwill with the audience that we're here for it.
I did want to point out that when you said unbeaten or undefeated, and then you pivoted to hasn't lost, it was like the wrestling.
Maybe Penta pops up.
It was like the wrestling phrased version of me trying to spell necessary or unnecessary and just hitting him with not needed.
That needed.
Unnecessary.
What is needed, my friend? Obafemi. I need him.
Yeah.
In this Rumble.
He'll be in the Rumble.
Give me Oba making a top 4. I would love to see that. Do we get Tessa Blanchard? Too corrosive?
I don't know. I think Triple H would listen to his locker room.
I think it's too soon. But Brad, on Saturday,
Braun Breaker, dude.
But Brad, on Saturday we got. So I'm getting mixed messages. Are we moving past certain unscrupulous people, or are we, at least Tessa Blanchard gives you graps right now? I wouldn't put it past them, but I don't think we're going to see Tessa pop up.
I think Ted DiBiase's past.
Who's he there for? Who's popping for Ted? Maybe people pop for him. I sure didn't see. I tuned out.
Well, yeah, but how many people that are watching these shows are think about where it is? What channel?
NBC.
Okay. If you're young enough and you're watching it on the WWE cock, then you're probably catching it with perspective if I know what's going on with these talent, because I've used the internet to find out about their lives and see their scandals and see all these things. But most people, if you're flipping through channels still and landing on your local NBC station, like as you dust off your tea and remember to take your Mucilax before going to bed, you're going to land at it and go like, holy, that's Ted DiBiase. Yeah. He was there when I was in my 30s in the 80s. Like,
and a lot of people may not know about the accusations against him and his son and their ministry of, taking money from the poorest people in the poorest state in the country.
And that's the thing. It's like, it's allegations. It's we don't know. There hasn't been any like prosecuting. There's just stuff out there, and then we're not really sure what happened yet. So I think people have given them a pass, whereas Hulk Hogan, we got it on like high definition audio. And it's not one time or one occasion of being crappy. It's like multiple, this guy's a total a-hole. And then you throw in like recent political stuff, and it's like it's a recipe for people just hating your guts because you're like kind of universally despised. I mean, I know he did the Republican National Convention and stuff, but I think people that know about his racist past kind of go like, yeah, I don't really care about the politics thing. I think this guy's just a piece of crap. I'm still going to vote red, but he's an a-hole. I think those things can be true. I just think the casual fan has no idea what's going on. And there were a lot of people that were probably at that LA show or watching that LA show for Netflix going, I don't know why they're booing Hogan, because, people tune that guy out from their childhood. And then just, 30 years later, he's on Netflix. And you're like, oh, wow, this is the thing. Cool. I'll tune in and watch. And they're booing my favorite wrestler. Why are they booing this man? So I just wonder how much of that is just recency political rumblings with Hogan in LA and the political climate, and you go to the home state of the opposition and you represented the other party by tearing off your shirt and saying you wanted to body slam a woman. You're going to get booed out of that area. But do people even know that Ted DiBiase is still a thing? Like, they probably saw that when, oh my God, that's the $1 million man. I forgot about that guy. Unless they've been watching NXT in the last 5 years,
unless
he's there for a while.
Yeah. Unless they're into podcasts and know that
right.
He has a podcast. He was a fellow nominee last year.
I think this year too.
I think, yeah, he's still active and
Everybody's got a pod, right? That's his thing.
I think that's the
Yeah,
one. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I think that's the one. But
yeah.
I'm
So
excited. I will be tuning in. Hopefully, he doesn't pop up in Indy this Saturday. But I think this Rumble has the potential to be really special. Certainly on the men's side of things, but then on the women's side, I think because expectations seem to be rather low amongst the fan base, or because we're spending so much time focusing on the dudes, that I think the women have a real tangible opportunity to steal the show on Saturday, especially if Jordan Grace wins. I know there's rumblings about, okay, is this the opportunity for Charlotte Flair to come back? And if she does, she's certainly a favorite to win it all. We're still awaiting
yep,
Becky Lynch's return.
we got that.
Hopefully Bianca, maybe Jade pops up. I mean, they're NXT, Roxanne Perez. We could get some, like you said, TNA folks coming through, Masha Slamovich, etc.
Or legends.
Or legends too.
Trish
Please.
Stratus make an appearance.
The Nikki Bella Renaissance.
Nikki Bella.
I'm here
Oh,
for
that'd
this.
be great.
Yes,
that'd be great. Yeah, there's a lot
Be-
of things that could happen. I think that's why you get Ted DiBiase and these other people. They're trying to honor legends in their past, and I always have to remind myself that these characters, not the people, but the characters, wrestling just feels more personal than that because there's the weird life overlap. That I do want to cheer for these characters and I want to enjoy their character work and who they are. It's sort of like the most fascinating thing to me is I can't remember the actor's name because of the B, that was in the movie with Blake Lively and all the stuff that's going on with Ryan Reynolds, Blake Lively, Deadpool, and this dude who by all accounts is a bit of a perv and was getting handsy and gropey and all this stuff. No legal things were ever really done on the back end of it. It just sort of became like this public, I'm going to drag him. And then news got a hold of it and it took off and now there's lawsuits. It's a whole thing. But if I watch that movie and enjoy that character, am I going to be like, I'm turning it off, that guy's in it? Because like there's some old Kevin Spacey movies that pop on TV every once in a while. I think sucks about that one is like that one turned out to be like maybe nothing. And if it was nothing, it was like maybe consensual or not that bad. I can't remember what it was now that it came out, but like that dude's whole career is completely destroyed because we decided to destroy it based on allegations. So I'm not going to sit here and say that I don't do that because I do. I think most of us are like, yeah, we're done with this. It's just really hard to deny it when it's like there's actual audio of Hulk Hogan versus allegations with the DiBiase's, and we don't really know.
Well, even with Diddy, right? It wasn't until footage came out from the hotel, from the elevator, where you saw the domestic violence taking place, where that really turned the public perception completely against him, as it should. And, he's probably never going to see the light of day again.
Well, a lot of the quarterbacks, most of them Cleveland quarterbacks, like all of those allegations that ended up not amounting to really anything, or they were settled outside or whatever. But then you had Ray Rice. Ray Rice got caught on camera and the other ones didn't. It's just, I hate all of it because it's like, we want to protect people and we want to protect these women and vulnerable people. And when you don't have any evidence, it just sort of dies on the vine and then you don't know how to feel about it. Cause it's like, I also don't want to falsely accuse people of anything and form a judgment about them before anything has happened. Cause I know if that happened to me, sure. You and I are in public edit. All it would take is one rumor to go around to destroy a career, even if it's not true. We've been a part of those things. Mm-hmm. And then, people have lost their jobs and sued. And it turns out like it was all like, I don't know, it ends up going away, but it's just, you can't feel great about all of it. But at the same time, it's like, as a business person, why would you even take the risk?
When I was going to bring up Brett Favre because he was in the orbit of Ted DiBiase in Mississippi and, welfare fraud, etc. That's also another very public figure who many of us have fond childhood memories watching. And then there are stories, sometimes there's tapes, there's other, I know it continues to be a continued conversation on GI because we're talking pro wrestling, we're talking pop culture, and naturally, these situations come up and we have to have an opportunity to just sort of dissect and process the art, the artist, what is fact, what is hearsay, much like my hot take segment. Yeah. So it continues to be, I'm just so grateful we have a space where, for us and our audience, we can just, process process this together.
Yeah, I think the cancel culture thing is a real thing. It is real. We do like destroy careers based on rumor, but like if the rumors are real, don't care. If the rumors are not rumors, I don't really feel bad. And if they're like unprovable allegations that it's an overwhelming amount of evidence, then yeah, you should go away. Or if you're just a crappy person, like you just go away, get out of our, I guess, out of the public spotlight and out of us having to listen to it or deal with it. I just think if you're still that like hot out of a controversy or in a controversy, maybe make the decision not to put them on your airwaves or on your television. Just feels like a bad idea overall as a business decision. So, Tyler, I started this off very humbly by saying, as I correctly predicted, Gunther ended up killing Jey Uso. Okay, the crowd was invested. There were near falls galore. There was a spear. There was the Uso splash. The Uso splash got me even. Rhea and Nia deserve a lot of flowers and probably a lot of ice packs, by the way. Aggressively violent, that match. Back to the main event and main event Jay. The crowd was super invested, but it wasn't meant to be, with a show with Ted DiBiase on it. Tyler, who dethrones Gunther, and when does it happen?
Wow. Wouldn't it be interesting if Ludwig Kaiser did that? If he just
forget
the IC title. What if
that's the story to me.
That would be something, although I don't think that's gonna happen. I'm gonna go Braun Breaker. I think Gunther holds that title for the rest of the year. And then ultimately Braun drops the IC title, maybe to Sheamus at some point. I would think that has to happen eventually. But do you remember this was it was Q4, maybe November-ish, October, November, when Gunther and Braun Breaker had that backstage moment where Braun Breaker, if memory serves, said, like, hey, watch out, man. Like, I may be coming for you next. Hopefully this wasn't a figment of my imagination. I'm pretty sure that happened. And I am all here for it. To me, Braun Breaker is one of those champions where it's clear what his trajectory is going to be. When his IC title reign is over, I don't think he stays in that mix or aspires to become a 3-time IC champion. I think his next move heading into winter, as soon as winter of this year, he is in the world title conversation. He is that good. He has found the right character. The fans are clearly invested. To me, the move is Braun Breaker. Probably a babyface Braun Breaker defeats a heel Gunther.
I'm trying to look right now.
It doesn't need to be Seth. It doesn't need to be Drew. To me, Braun Breaker is that guy.
So what I thought it would be is, and this could still happen, I don't think it's him. Braun might be the guy. He might be a guy. It just depends. I could also see this being like we've seen it before, but I think Gunther coming out at some point, probably in March. I just looked it up because I had to check. And saying like, nobody can beat me. I've beaten everybody that's tried. You're going to have to send a killer to end me. Lights go out. Lights come on. Aleister Black.
That's where I thought you were going. Wow.
I think
what a way to come back.
He comes back. He comes back. He kills Gunther. Black Mass. 1, 2, 3. Surprises everybody. It'd be a giant FU to TK. It'd be a huge boon because we've all wanted to see him have a reign with a belt in a prominent position in WWE. He's just such a compelling, charismatic dude with a really interesting moveset that's different than a lot of people. They don't have really anybody like him right now. And I think they could put him out there as a like dark baby face going up against Gunther, or maybe you make a maximum heel energy, but I think a return like that.
Oh no, the fans are
it's over.
Buck wild for his return. That may even be a Royal Rumble surprise. I don't know necessarily contractually if that's possible, but we could even see him pop up on Saturday.
That's what I looked. It said it's believed that his contract goes through February. So it would be.
So that's why you're predicting the March. Okay, I got you.
Yeah. Otherwise, it'd have to be afterward, maybe Elimination Chamber or just a Raw.
Do you as one of the biggest Aleister Malachi Black fans I know, do you worry that if and when he returns to WWE, it may end up giving Andrade vibes, because you and I were really excited for Andrade to come back to WWE, and that's also a talent that a former NXT champ, I believe, has the talent, has the charisma to be in the main event title scene one day. But didn't Andrade come back at last year's Rumble?
Yeah.
And if we're looking at it a year in review, what has he really done since being back? Not Andrade the man, but as a character, as the booking. He
A
won at
lot of speed.
WrestleMania with Rey Mysterio, but this guy, to me, him and Alistair Malachi Black bring a lot of the same strengths to the table, and I hope in your scenario, both guys, and particularly in this case, Alistair, can really break through to that main event scene. And what better way to do it than your idea of night one, first time he's back, he calls out the champ, fade to Black Jones, and maybe he leaves with that title. I would love that, to establish right away, no, we view this guy just like the fans do, as being in that upper echelon, not respectfully kind of just toiling amongst the mid card and
Yeah.
lower for a year, as I would say Andrade's done. I think he's better than that.
I worry about Penta the same way. Like, once this streak stops, what do you got for him? Is it just biding time? Put him on a streak,
Yeah,
have him lose, and then
you're,
have
you're in
him
the
beat down, and that's when Phoenix comes out.
you're
Like,
in the IC title scene. You get a chance. You're in a triple threat, but that's about it, right? Like, what's been the Andrade feud over the last year,
um, well, he and Mello went back and forth a whole bunch,
right?
but both of
Good
those
call.
guys were
That was
feuding with
good.
each other over nothing, and
That was a
it
fun
ended up.
series. I enjoyed that. Yeah,
But then you got Carmella doing backstage stuff during big shows, and it's
dark
like,
matches, and
yeah, so
you
it's
got to earn your stripes. I get it. I just
yeah,
hope
but
that
like
if
that's what.
Alistair comes back, I think he'll be prioritized because of all the reasons you said. I
But
do.
but again, if you go back to like the NXT stuff, and you're like, I think Trick is ready to come up. Where? Like, he's just going to end up in that break room,
We'll probably
and
see
you're going to
him.
have backstage
We'll probably
segments.
see him on Saturday. Yeah,
Probably, and he'll
great
probably
entrance.
go back to NXT, and that's probably the best thing you could possibly do. Have
Yeah,
Trick stay there, have
he,
Trick work with the TNA guys.
he stared down Obafemi, so maybe we're getting that
Yeah,
rematch back. I
let's
would
get
love
that.
to see
They're doing great stuff over there.
Trick appearing at TNA. Maybe he's on the card for TNA Rebellion. That's going to be from USC's gym in April. To me, Trick is a top candidate on the men's side in NXT to cross the line, if you will, and make it to TNA. I think that would be good for him to get additional reps, and I think the TNA fan base would,
Yeah.
as you would say, go bonkers for Trick Willie popping up.
I think it would be great. Like, I think it's great for everybody involved, though. It's like an abundance of talent. I'm not trying to say like he doesn't deserve to be there. It's not what I'm saying. It's of course he does. It's just, where does he fit in terms of, like, you got the entrance where everybody would do and whip that trick. Can you have him on the same show as Jey Uso? Like, because that kind of takes the shine off of that one particular entrance if you're doing one that's exactly the same. Um, like, I don't know. There's just a lot going on there where it's like, I don't know, from a production standpoint, from a move set standpoint, from a character standpoint, I don't really know. Like, they got it like a character problem. WWE built this brand around having larger than life, really specific characters. And then when you have somebody like, what is Carmelo's character? Not his tagline, because I know that's what you were thinking, is always whenever we go like, well, what is that character? It's like, well, it's this. And it's like, no, that's a tagline. What's to describe this person?
You don't miss.
Yeah. Mello Don't Miss is not a character because he's missing shows entirely. So I don't know. He's done a lot of missing lately. And Andrade is in that same camp. As soon as they brought back the LWO, I got scared, because I was like, they're just going to start chucking Latin talent into the LWO to have them have a group. And now we got like race wars happening there again. And it's just gross. I'm actually relieved the Hurt Business isn't there to be a part of this, because I feel like it would have happened. Hurt Business versus the LWO would be a thing, and it'd just be gross. So I'm not worried about Aleister Black returning, because he's so different from everybody, that I'm not worried about it. I'm also not worried about it. It's going to sound messed up, but history suggests that if you speak good English, you're going to have more time. So you got to reach the majority of your fan base, and we got an English speaking Dutch born wrestler. So We'll see what happens. It all hinges upon whether or not they can get that old CFO's theme back, because that ruled.
It's true. At some point, maybe this is on a future episode, I have to ask you about the Wyatt Six. Speaking of spooky characters,
Yeah, you're really
Brad, we gotta. I don't know if now's the time, and this made me think of this because I could see Trick Williams being a real boon to SmackDown if that's where he ends up. Reportedly, the Wyatt Six will be moving to SmackDown as well. Yeah, I see the mask. I respect the mask that you have in your background. You just also speak about, talent that came in or that were reestablished as being a huge deal, even more so than Andrade. I mean, the Wyatt Six debuted backstage and committed homicide against Chad Gable and a fourth of the roster.
Mello too, right? He was in the pile.
Yeah, and now here we are, and it's just, I'm sure we visit spooky characters, but I agree with you that Aleister Black could come in and have an immediate, tangible impact. And I hope the Wyatt Six are able to recoup.
I think they are.
They had. You think so?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like they're doing the slow build. What the Wyatt Six is doing right now is making the entirety of the Karrion Kross stuff better, because Karrion Kross has had to raise up, and it's sort of like that backstage feud. We're trying to stop them. They're trying to get us. We don't really know what's going on. Throw in the Miz for some real weirdness here. It's kind of awesome. I've been really enjoying it. I hated it at first, and now I'm like, this is great. This is just fun. Does it really matter? No, but I think the good thing is that I'm not going to complain about it. And here's why, Tyler. I wanted them to be used sparingly. They're doing that. I just feel like they're being used a little bit too sparingly. I didn't mean don't have them on the show. I meant not have them in the ring all the time competing for championships. That's really it. It's just have the other stuff. Yes, but have it all the time. The thing is that a lot of the times they commit their crime in the dark, and then you don't actually see them. And it's like, okay, well, that person's just sort of laid out in the street. It's not exactly, oh, there's the Wyatt Six. It's just sort of happened. But I love the Nikki in the background for the Scarlet attack a while back.
We were there for that at Raw. Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. So, and then the following week, all that stuff was really good. So I've enjoyed it. It's just, it's been a slow build, but I think a little too slow. Time to ramp it up. I don't know. It's Tyler. It's a great question by you. Transition. The Wyatt Six might be in a sad state of affairs, but 19 Media Group is not. Time for State of 19. Play the music.
Late breaking news from the world of 19 Media.
Tyler, Robin, Nathaniel, and his show Land the Talk have joined 19. Every week, Robin delves into the journeys of TED and TEDx speakers. Check out his most recent episode, How Finding Your Message Can Land Your TEDx Talk. With Marina, we worked on this.
Bareva. Shout out to Marina.
We were like, Bareva. Thank you, Google pronunciations. Follow Robin at Believin Fantasy, BLEAVIN Fantasy.
Shout out Robin. Shout out Marina. Glad to have him on the team. Are you an NFL fan? If so, Mo and Mike have you covered with Hidden Gems Football. You won't want to miss their upcoming Super Bowl special, in which they preview the big game and provide their predictions. Also, be sure to check out Mike's solo show, The Salty Thoughts of Mike Steph, for unforgettable commentary on the latest headlines from entertainment, politics, sports, and much more. Follow them at Mike Steffens _ and at A Power Mojo.
Speaking of passionate teammates, Desmond Powell released a new Hip to the Games installment. He dropped the 19th edition of his song breakdown series, reviewing the classic hip-hop track To Grind by Masta Ace and Apocalypse. You can follow Desmond's show at Hip2 the Games. God, I hate saying it like that. Dat Games.
We love hearing you say.
Put the whitest whites meme up on the screen. Yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
I mean, it's not wrong.
While we're speaking of the young legend Desmond Powell, big shout out to him and super producer Jabari Davis, as you can watch their newest We Love Music conversation on 19's YouTube page. They welcome guests to discuss the latest releases across the industry. Follow Jabari at Jabari A. Davis.
Cal and Warren, the Baseline NBA podcast, released their highly anticipated mid-season report. Very excited about the Pistons. They discussed the MVP race, the Cooper Flag sweepstakes, and more. Follow them at NBA Baseline. And are you someone you know hoping to work in the sports media industry? Warren welcomed ESPN's Ben Caffardo on the latest episode of Dope Interviews. They discuss how Ben landed at ESPN, his current role with the company, and advice he'd give to new talent. Tune in and follow the show at dope_interviews.
Finally, I'm excited to share that 4AZ has joined the network. We're in the Thank you. We're in the thick of our Abbott Elementary series. Check out our new episode in which I welcome Arizona third grade teacher Sarah Beth to recap the latest happenings at Abbott. Sarah Beth also shares how she's using AI in her class and reacts to news of Mesa Public Schools declining enrollment. Follow us at 4, that's the number 4, AZ Teach.
Tyler, AEW did stuff this week too. Let's get into it.
That they did. I'm really excited to hear your take. Okay, so the Hurt Syndicate became tag champs.
Yep.
Timeless Tony Storm officially returned. And we learned that Kenny Omega is afraid of heights.
Yeah, so good.
That was awesome. He is awesome. However, I want to ask you about the developing feuds in AEW right now. Which rivalry are you most excited to see develop this Q1? I'll give you some candidates. Swerve Strickland versus Ricochet, Jamie Hayter versus Julia Hart, Powerhouse Hobbs versus Big Bill. They may be still fighting around Jacksonville as we record. Or Cope versus Mox. And again, you're welcome to choose a rivalry or a feud that's not on this list. Which one are you most excited to see develop this Q1?
I can't choose MJF and Double J.
Certainly an option. That truly would be a hot take if so.
I don't know. Some of the feuds are interesting. Julia Hart and Jamie Hayter doesn't really interest me all that much.
Really? I'm surprised.
No, I like them both, but it's in terms of like, is it a feud? I'm trying to suspend belief, but I just feel like Jamie Hayter could one piece Julia Hart pretty handedly, and I'm trying to buy into it a little bit more.
You're taking Jamie in the rubber match. It sounds.
It's shocking that there need to be one. Yeah, but I'm more. I think I'm going to take it anyway, just because I'm excited for the women's talent. Yeah, that's it. Like I think that has to be it. It's got to be Jamie and Julia, only because the other feuds are either okay. I did almost pick Hobbs and Big Bill because that one's probably the most. That one's got the most legs. Literally,
what did you think of them
metaphorically
all over Collision?
I kind of like when they do stuff like that, and I do enjoy that stuff. But I like, give me big meaty men. Like, give me a Haas Fest. I like, man, when we get a breakup where it's like AEW has all these high flyers and all these like cool move sets and all this stuff, and then you just throw in some giant dudes beating the hell out of each other. That's what we need every once in a while. Yeah, give me that all day long. So I really like that. But I think I love Jamie Hayter.
Mm-hmm. I watched her on Dynamite, obviously, during the aforementioned match. She picked up the win and tied the series with Julia 1-1. It was the first time in a while where I watched that match. I watched the entrance. I saw the fan reactions to Jamie, and I was reminded, wait, Jamie Hayter is a centerpiece of this division. You could tell, I forget exactly what the moment was, but there were multiple fans in that front row. I think one may have had a sign, or there was one dude who was really feeling her music, and she was like, I see you. I love you. Thank you for that. And just, of course, her in-ring work and her presence. And it was just a reminder.
It brought her back on a 0 hour, man.
For real. Yeah. It was just a reminder to me, and hopefully the powers that be within All Elite Wrestling, that Jamie Hayter should be a centerpiece. And dare I say, maybe I don't know if this is your question, Brad, but maybe she is the person, speaking of dethroning champs, maybe she is the woman to dethrone Mercedes for that TBS championship. You could make a case for certainly Chris Statlander. Maybe we've been there, done that for that rivalry. Certainly Willow Nightingale getting a rematch with Mercedes at some point down the line.
Yeah.
But I could make as compelling of a case for Jamie Hayter being that person. She is amazing. If I were to answer this question, I'm tempted to go Bill versus Hobbs, just because I'm a huge fan of both of them, and I'm glad
Yeah.
they're getting TV time. I'm glad I could see Big Bill away from the learning tree for a
Yes,
full
thank you.
episode of AEW TV. Hallelujah. But I got to go Swerve versus Ricochet. I got to.
Of course you
The match is going to be in Hotlanta. Brad Winchester, I've been to Atlanta twice in my life, and I enjoyed both visits immensely. The match, to me, you could main event that Atlanta show. I have a feeling it'll probably open, but you could sell me on main eventing that Atlanta show with Swerve versus Ricochet,
can.
it being a match of the year contender, and it being one of many matches in this rivalry. I could see this going through Double or Nothing if they play their cards right. I'm hopeful it will elevate Ricochet now that he's leaned into this new heel David Koresh-esque persona with the scissors from Us. Shout out to Peelcast. So I'm hopeful of what it could do for Ricochet. And speaking of people I watched on Wednesday, Swerve Strickland on Dynamite, there is not an in-ring performer I enjoy watching more than Swerve. You mentioned Alistair Malachi Black with his moveset and how unique it is. Swerve is just in his bag time and time again. I love the moveset. I love how he has really reinvented himself in AEW as a perpetual main event guy. The aura is tremendous. Remember, we also get Prince Nana if we get Swerve. This is the rivalry for me. It doesn't even need a title, which is a huge win. It's gonna be Swerve versus Ricochet for me, and I can't wait for that February 5th show in Atlanta.
I mean, I don't disagree with that. I think it's a great pick. I was just thinking, like, in terms of, have we seen it before? Not these characters, but we've seen it before. It feels like it's been going on for a long time. So I'm afraid that it's not going to last all that long. I also don't think Jamie Hayter, Julia Hart's going to last all that long. I think it'll be whatever happens next happens, and it'll be the end of it, and we'll see. But I think your pick is probably the right pick. For the longevity of some really high level talent being in a feud together, that makes all the sense in the world. And they could do a best of 3, best of 5, best of 7, whatever they want to do. I could see that going on for a while. Tyler, Buddy Matthews wants Okada and he wants his title. I'm going to make this really simple. Is it time to strap up Buddy with singles gold?
It's definitely time.
Oh.
Will it happen? Maybe this is a great opportunity for me to use reverse psychology. Hear me out. I picked Jey Uso to beat Gunther. Did not happen. Maybe if I pick against Buddy, he will dethrone Okada. I'm not going to. I just don't think it's going to happen. I hope so, but to me, part of my hesitation, even though I would love for that to happen, I saw that moment from the show, just like you did, him going toe to toe and standing on business, standing 10 toes down against Okada. I would love that. I just think the move is going to be the Hounds of Hell, Buddy Matthews and Brody King, becoming tag team champs. Brad, if there was a team that I could sell you on to beat the Hurt Syndicate, not in a fluky way, but take down the Hurt Syndicate as tag champs, is there a better candidate right now than the Hounds of Hell?
No, not right now.
I think that's the move. Hopefully not immediately, but if you're telling me fall time, let's say all out, all in, to me, that would be the time when you strap Buddy. Singles gold, I think he's going to put on an amazing match with Okada, but I don't think he wins that. I don't think he wins that one. I hope I'm wrong. I think it would be a great pivot for both guys, frankly.
Yeah.
I just don't think that's what's going to happen.
I think it would be really good for Buddy and the Hounds of Hell if he wins. I think if you're going to try to establish this new group, because it's not just
statement. Yeah.
Giving one of the people that has said the least amount on AEW TV the chance to have singles gold and be a mouthpiece for the group, because he can talk. They just never have him do it.
He's got everything.
Yeah, he's the total package there. Not Lex Luger style, but he's the total package. Dude is awesome, looks great, incredible work, good character work, scary as hell, believable, like all of those things. He has everything going for him. I would love to see him dethrone Okada. So I'm going to say, yeah, I want to see it. So I'm going to manifest it and say, yeah, I want to see it.
That would be a big look. And before we leave this subject, when you think about House of Black, now that we're moving into a totally different era. And again, Aleister Black, Malachi Black seemingly gone. When you think about the run they've had, I would argue that Buddy Matthews was really coming in at number 4 on the
Yeah.
depth chart. Brody King's been
Sure.
spotlighted in singles
100%.
action, as he should.
Yep.
Malachi was the de facto leader of the group and tagged with Brody a whole lot. Julia Hart was TBS champ. Buddy was really 4th on that list. I love your vision, in part because if we're going to reset this group, what better way than let's propel Buddy Matthews and let's remind everyone that he is that dude. He is that good.
I mean, he's just sitting there. Look at him. For God's sake, if I had Buddy Matthews, I'd just use him to make $1 billion. Like, what are we doing? It's how I felt about Ethan Page when he was there. Like, you have this asset who's really good at all of it, and he's just sort of occasionally there, often on ROH, like just, or not even on ROH. Came from ROH.
Yeah.
Immediately established himself, doing this really great stuff. Man,
can I just say you convinced me. I see the light now. Grand Slam Australia.
Yes,
in a couple weeks. Maybe I missed the match announcement as of this recording.
Yeah, that's where it would be, I think.
But maybe this is the plan is in motion. Maybe this is Okada versus Buddy in Australia. And absolutely, that would be the venue where you could convince me that this is actually a conceptual reality that Buddy defeats him. Okada as the champ, it served his purpose. I don't know if it's really doing anything at the moment. This would be a great opportunity. I see the vision, Brad. We're talking about organic content. You literally convinced me. I would not be surprised if this week, even maybe by the time that our episode drops, the match is announced. And that's the time where you execute the plan and Buddy wins in Australia. I love that. You convinced me. I am actually going to be shocked if that doesn't happen now.
It needs to happen.
Legit.
It needs to happen. It needs to happen. That's it. Like, I don't have anything else to add. It needs to happen. Tyler, what a great place for Buddy to have like that singles gold and get his flowers. And we got some flowers for our listeners and viewers right now. It is time for another edition of A Rose from Tyler. Hit the music.
And now for a rose from GI's most eligible bachelor.
You know, last night I was just waiting with excitement for this moment right here. I am not being facetious whatsoever. This is big, Brad. It's not only big because of all of the wrestling that we have ahead in the coming weeks, but as we drop this episode on Monday, this is the same day that season 29 of The Bachelor premieres with Grant Ellis, the second Black Bachelor in franchise history. Okay, here's how I want to approach this conversation, Brad. I know, just like me, you've seen the cast bios have now been released. I have 3 categories to start this out before I give you my final 4 predictions. When looking at the cast bios, best fun fact, I wrote down Carolina. We'll learn how she pronounces her name, but I'll go Carolina for now. She's a 28-year-old PR producer from Puerto Rico. Her fun fact, what I deem the best one, is that she's multilingual. Mm-hmm. Brad, shout out to Claudio Castagnoli. We don't talk about how impressive that is when people can speak multiple languages. In Carolina's case, she is trilingual. She speaks English, Spanish, and French. Low-key, that is also a very attractive quality in a potential partner, is someone who can speak multiple languages. I think that is incredible. So that's my best fun fact. Do you have any thoughts on multilingual people?
Nope.
Okay.
I told you I love it. So, but that is Spanish and French.
And French. How cool is that?
It's real nice.
Carolina. Okay.
Cool grandma vibes.
Yes, you read it. Yes. Final 2 categories here. The most unique job. I looked at the list, and we have a lot of medical professionals. Shout out to them. We'll talk more about that soon. I'm choosing Allie Joe, the 30-year-old boxing trainer from New Jersey. I don't recall us having a lot of boxing trainers, if at all, in previous seasons. She's from Jersey.
Of course, it's Jersey.
She's automatically the homie, of course.
Really funny.
Most unique job, I got to go with Allie Joe, the boxing trainer.
Yeah, looking around at this, model. I kind of want to know what kind. Like that could go. I don't know. That could be clothing. That, for all we know, she's a hand model. There's no way to know. They're looking at all the other things. There are a lot of doctors and nurses and PhD candidates, and I kind of dig Zoe's tech engineer and model.
We will talk about Zoe.
That's a wild mix of things.
That's incredible.
Yeah, wow.
Okay, and my final category here. This is the inaugural. Are we sure this isn't an AI bot category? Speaking of PhDs, I have Natalie's bio, the 25-year-old PhD,
yes,
easy for me to say, student from Louisville, Kentucky. Are we sure this isn't AI generated or Natalie's an AI bot? And I say this for a few reasons. If you look at her bio, what we know about Natalie is that she enjoys sports, romance movies, and pups. Her love language is gift giving, and she's a big Seattle Seahawks fan. But we don't know what her PhD is in. I'm sure Natalie is awesome. Can't wait to meet her from our screens, if you will, during this premiere. But she is my choice for. Are we sure this contestant isn't an AI generated?
Yeah, I'm looking at right toward her PhD, but she's an animal lover. And she's into communication. I would guess psychology if I were going to guess anything there, but it could be like a PhD in yarn for all I know. I have no idea. But yeah, it's a great point by you. That might not be a real person.
We'll see. And final four predictions. This is the moment we've been waiting for, Brad Winchester. Okay, here are my picks. Here are the four contestants who I think will make it to hometowns and thus make it to the end. I'm going with Ella, the 25-year-old luxury travel host from LA. You may notice that she mentions liking basketball in her bio. And she's one of our West Coast peeps, so already automatic love for her. I'm also picking Janae. We spoke about Janae on a recent episode. She is the 28-year-old account coordinator from Colorado Springs. She not only likes basketball, she mentions playing basketball, how that's been a big part of her life. So we know Grant is a former basketball player. I think that's an immediate point of connection. Final two choices for me. Zoe, the aforementioned Zoe, the 27-year-old tech engineer and model from New York, who you pointed out. And my final pick to make the final four is going to be Rebecca, the 31-year-old ICU nurse from Dallas, simply because obviously she's beautiful. She's brilliant. She serves in such an important role. Dallas, Texas, right? Still West Coast-y, kind of pseudo adjacent. I'm going to go with Rebecca to make the final four. I'm keeping my eye on Janae. Something tells me Janae may be the one Grant gets on one knee for, gets down on one knee for. We'll see. But those are my final four, Brad.
Man, I'm just going to go with your gut. I was going to pick, and then I was like, I don't want to. I had a pretty good record.
Is that because you trust my judgment? You know I'm notorious for, I can nail about 1 to 2 final four predictions. That's kind of my track record.
Yeah, you did a pretty good job last time. I did a pretty good job last time for the Golden, but then I stopped caring. So I don't want to pick anybody. I just hope for the best. I hope this one does not end in divorce, Tyler. Full circle moment at the beginning of the show, I guess. Tyler, what'd we miss?
Yeah, that was indeed. I have just one item in terms of what did we miss. I sent you this actually. Drop. It's the latest movie from Blumhouse. The trailer came out recently. It is going to come out in theaters on April 11th. The movie revolves around a widowed mom who goes on a date for the first time in years. During the date, she begins receiving threatening airdrops to her phone. And the tagline of the movie is, "First dates can be a nightmare." Brad, this was a trailer I saw, and I thought to myself, why didn't we think about this concept?
Yeah.
5 years ago.
Yeah.
It's a great concept, very cheeky. It's from the same people who brought you Happy Death Day. I'm locked in. I can't wait for this to come out. And also big shout out to Megan Fahey. She plays Violet, the widowed mom, our protagonist. You may know her from White Lotus season 2 fame. She's fantastic, and I'm really excited to see this movie in April. That's it for me.
That's awesome. The last couple of weeks I've plowed through Reacher on Amazon Prime. Awesome, by the way, really great. And then I know the season 3 comes out soon. I think it said in March, might be February, but I think it was in March. And then I've been, since it popped up on the You Might Also Like, I decided, yeah, I'll give Jack Ryan a shot. And I'm glad I did. Really good show. John Krasinski in a very different role, and I've been enjoying it a lot. So what do we miss? So it turns out ClearCom belt packs for theaters and communications, very expensive. Really awesome. Very expensive. I needed 5 more, thinking like, yeah, 5 more, probably be a couple $1,000. Not 16 grand for everything I need. That was an email I sent this week. I don't know how that went over. Executive orders cut blind advocates out of positions for blind job advocacy because of the sort of blanket undo the Biden orders executive order. It has also impacted other groups such as veterans. Consumer Reports ranked Arizona dead last in education funding in a September report by Jackie Longo. Right now, Isaac School District, up by you, is facing a financial crisis with a $12 to $15 million budget shortfall. I don't know how the hell that happens. Our thoughts are with the faculty and community as they navigate their next steps. And TNA had its first live television event in 8 years. Pretty dope.
Pretty dope. Pretty dope. Well said, my friend. Well, you can follow us at GIPod19 for exclusive show updates and more. Of course, we would love to know your thoughts on really everything we spoke about.
Today was a little heavy today.
It was a wide-ranging episode.
It was a little heavy, yeah.
It was, but in all seriousness, we would love to know your takes, your hot takes, if you will. Again, follow us at GIPod19. We would love for you to leave a comment here on YouTube, a 5-star review on your favorite audio platform. And we thank you so much for being here. We'll see you next week. Gimmick Infringement is a part of 19 Media Group. You can listen to us on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you find podcasts. You can also find us on YouTube via the 19 Media Group channel. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share.